Hey everybody, it's Jack Reeder with Future Pastimes, and in this video I'm going to be doing a power alliance in the classic Dune board game that I call the Golden Path Alliance, and that is one between Spacing Guild and Atreides, so a classic matchup as well. Now I call it the Golden Path Alliance because the golden part could be referring to the spice that the Spacing Guild will often have through most of the game, plenty of it. But for me, really, it's just about card knowledge and that prescience. And I think of the path more as the mobility that the guild gets you. Cross-shipping, they can get anywhere on the planet, but that discount is also a big deal. So plenty to work with here with our Golden Path Alliance. Let's take a closer look. So I mentioned card knowledge. So the Atreides, they specialize that in two ways. One, of course, is they know what each card coming up for bid is going to be, and that means they can help the guild to pick up really good cards that they probably don't have because they always end up buying a lot of garbage and spending a lot for it. But now they'll be able to spend smartly and know, okay, this is a card that I need, so I'm going to get it. And of course, with their spice stockpiles that they frequently have, they can help make sure that Atreides too gets a really good card. But the other part of the card knowledge equation for Atreides, of course, is their ability to keep records. They can keep track of what everybody has, and they know, oh, okay, the Emperor has this weapon but no defense. Or we know that Harkonnen, we know half of their hand, but we've been paying attention to what shows up in battle, so we know that we need a snooper to counter the poison weapon that they have, etc., etc. And, of course, when dealing with the Bene Gesserit and trying to get around the voice, having a large stack of forces that lets you dial very high is going to be the key there. And with the discount in shipping and the amount of spice that the Spacing Guild has at their disposal, they can usually do that as well. So yes, that mobility, the pathway part of the Golden Path, is that the Spacing Guild, they can put a lot of forces into a territory. And a lot of times they're going to have like a big stack somewhere, and they know that they can cross-ship that somewhere else if they have to. They can always go back to their reserves, but that seems like a little bit of a weird idea. It's usually better to just say, why don't we cross-ship these to Arrakeen, and if we still don't want to get into a battle, we can move those forces to Polar Sync so that they're still on the board and they're in a safe haven. But with the card knowledge you're getting from Atreides, they're not going to have to avoid battles for very long. So they can definitely position themselves where those two factions can get into 4 strongholds and win the game through battle. Of course, we know that if the game goes long, let's say that this alliance doesn't happen till late in the game, or it does, but they could never manage to pull off the win. They just need to last until that 10th round. And with the help of Atreides, like, and knowing, oh, what are you going to dial? That can be a big factor as well, even up and above the card knowledge. So they know they don't necessarily need to ask about weapon or defense, because they know a lot of that already with many of these battles. So they can just say, well, you know, what are you going to dial? Oh, you're dialing an 8. Okay, we just need to beat an 8. Or depending on Storm Order, we just need to get to 8. And if we don't win this battle, as long as nobody else wins the battle, then the classic stall-out victory for the Spacing Guild will result in a win for Atreides as well as their ally. So yeah, there's not a lot of complexity to the Golden Path Alliance. It's just using that money and using that card knowledge as a 1-2 punch to overpower and circumnavigate your rivals. So yeah, let me know in the comments, how often do you find yourself in this alliance if you are playing as Atreides or playing as Spacing Guild, and what is the success rate? Are you able to get to a stronghold victory before the 10th round of play, or is that really the strategy? Is it's just you're playing as a spoiler, keep people from winning, blocking strongholds wherever possible, guild being able to take their turn when they want makes it easier for them to block a stronghold, but it also makes it easier for them to get into a stronghold before others can block it. They can't really do too much about when Atreides is taking their turn, but we know with Atreides, they can also say, let's take a look at the next spice blow, and maybe that's going to be part of our plan too, is just to get ahead of it. Albeit a very rare one. They'll also maybe know that there's a nexus coming up, and so they can say, yeah, let's just try to keep ourselves in a strong position, not necessarily weaken ourselves. Atreides may not be anxious to lose Spacing Guild as an ally, and vice versa. They're both strong factions under most circumstances. So yeah, like I said, let me know, is this a common alliance that you see? If you are not in this alliance and you're a different faction, how often are you playing against it? What sorts of moves can you find that will help you to counter the Golden Path Alliance? Pretty strong alliance. They don't necessarily have to wait for the conditions to be right. They can make their own conditions. So yeah, that it's going to vary, of course. You know, if you're in a game with Fremen and Bene Gesserit and Rich S, Spacing Guild is not going to be as wealthy as they normally are. They got a bunch of freeloaders on their hands, but if none of those factions are involved, then the Spacing Guild is going to definitely rack up. And if they're in a game, say with Chom, that has no onboard presence to start, same thing with Emperor. These are factions that have to pay to get in there, so Spacing Guild's going to get a payday. And if you don't have a faction like Chom that can switch cards with their opponent, and Harkonnen and Atreides has a lot more card knowledge at their disposal. So, like I said, Golden Path, very strong alliance. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's it for this one, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.